Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals Podcast, episode 95. Cruising our way up to episode 100. But tonight, we are going to be talking about TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, plus some new games announced as part of Summer Game Fest, Wholesome Direct, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Plus, rumors swirling about a Nintendo Direct. Still, because it's just going to keep happening until it comes. And you know what else is going to keep happening until it comes is this podcast. And so let's start it up. Cowabunga, fellow Nintendo pals. I am Andros, one of the co-hosts of the greatest Nintendo podcast on the internet. This is Nintendo Pals, the weekly show where we talk about games we're playing, the latest Nintendo news, rumors, and community-submitted questions and topics. But it's not just me. There's an S on those pals, and that S is Micah.
Yep.
I really can say just about anything, and Micah will say yup. I should start... Well, I think I did once where you were like, no, I'm not going to say yup to that. And then
It's either yep or nope, depending on what you say.
Oh, man. Well... This is intro attempt number 2. Full transparency to everybody watching, because we were trying a new podcasting service. It didn't work, and now we're just back to the old way, which just requires more editing on my part. Ha ha ha! So fun.
Yeah, same amount of effort on my part. It's awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's the same amount of effort on your part, because you don't have to do any of that stuff. Because Micah is the sole editor of Nintendo Pals Plus, but that doesn't have any sound effects currently. So pretty easy.
Or
pretty
hopefully
easy
ever, potentially.
Oh, well, speaking of Nintendo Pals Plus, Micah, I got to give a shout out to our Patreon. That is where you can find Nintendo Pals Plus, the show after the show, where we talk about anything we want.
Yeah, whatever we feel like, essentially.
Last week we talked about pizza. That was a pretty fun episode. We talk about sleep. We talk about movies, shows, more Nintendo. There is no limits with Plus, Nintendo Pals Plus. And that's just one of the bonus things you can get for becoming a Patreon, starting at as little as $3 a month. That's like less than $1 per episode of Nintendo Pals. You can join our Patreon. That's patreon.com/NintendoPals. And speaking of Patreon, we have a brand new patron this last week join, the one and only, the great K9 Cantina. And for those that don't know K9's been a prolific member of the Nintendo Pals community for quite some time. Fantastic guy. He's been on the show before. And yeah. Thanks for joining up, K9. We appreciate you and all you do. Also, we had someone ask in chat, because in the video version of this podcast, you might see that there is a name on Micah's wall behind him. And that is to our top tier patrons that are at the Platinum level. You can get your name on our wall. That's Lil Miss 7.
We're planning on making it look nicer at some point.
Yes. Yeah. I think we said that. Yeah, we'll have a permanent solution next time, and we still don't.
This episode's one day early, though. That one day makes all the difference.
We were gonna do it, but because we're recording the episode early. But I mean, it is a pretty semi-permanent solution here. That didn't come down at all this last week for me. It's still up on the wall. Anyways, this is enough Patreon self promotion. So let's move on. I just want to let everybody know that you're missing out on cool behind the scenes bonus content that is only available to the patrons. But beyond that, Micah, do you know what we are going to do tonight?
Nope.
The same thing we try to do every podcast night.
Can't say Friday anymore.
That is try to take over the world of Nintendo podcasts. And we do that through 5-star reviews. That is right. And we got... Can I just say, Micah, that I'm like so scatterbrained all over the place this night. Okay. We are like the luckiest podcasters ever because it's like every single week we have a new 5-star review. And this week we got 2 new 5-star reviews, written 5-star reviews. Can we keep the streak alive? At this rate, we will be the most listened to, most reviewed, and hopefully listened to, most reviewed Nintendo podcast on the internet. We just got to keep the streak alive, everybody. Keep leaving those 5-star reviews. Like our good buddy Nintendo fanatic Arno, who left us a review on Apple that says, perfect podcast for gaming fans alike. I was immediately enthralled with y'all's chill vibe. And as a diehard Nintendo fan, it was great to listen to y'all chat for hours. Keep gaming. Sick.
Right on.
I like that. I like that review a lot. That was like, sorry, chill vibe. I feel like I am not typically described as a chill person, but you are very often described as a chill person.
Yup. More than once have I been described that way.
It's all a front. He's not actually like this in real life. He's a spaz. He's crazier than I am. In person, he's the Tasmanian devil. He's like spinning around, and yeah, he's insane. But we appreciate that you keep your demeanor calm here on the show. Mikey, you want to read the next review?
Yeah, we got a review by Darvel. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I'm pretty sure this is Monkey Thunder.
Yeah, there's a little hint at the top, and I was wondering, but it's the titled Best Nintendo Podcast, and they say review number 50.
Review number 50. Hold on, Micah. That's worthy of the you win, right?
Oh, any chance to hear that?
50 reviews on Apple Podcasts. That is so awesome. I'm so pumped about that. Thank you, everybody. We really do appreciate it. It means the world to us. All right, go ahead and read it now.
I wasn't sure when the sound effect was ending or not, so wrong tab. It's your favorite monkey here. Andros and Micah are 2 friends that love Nintendo. If you also love Nintendo and friendship, you've got to listen to this podcast. Fun segments to listen to. Join the Discord as well because it's a fantastic community. The best out there. The best one out there.
That is a glowing recommendation. Wow. Thank you so much to Darvel. Maybe this isn't Monkey Thunder. It's just another one of our favorite monkeys. But it's someone in the Discord, and we appreciate you. I really like it. I don't know why that made me laugh. If you love Nintendo and friendship. The power of friendship. Oh man. If you want to join in on the awesome community that is our Discord, you can find a working link in the description of the show, because I just found out today that the link I've been using has expired. It doesn't work. Not exactly sure why, but apologies to anybody who tried to join the Discord community and could not because of a broken link. That is my bad. I feel awful. So please join to make me feel better. Thank you. Links in the description. And that's it. That's it for 5-star reviews this week. 2 new 5-star reviews, pushing us over 50 reviews on the US Apple Podcast Store app thing. Yeah. But you can leave a review no matter where you are, because we got pals all over, and you can leave reviews on Apple Podcasts. You can leave them on Podchaser. on Spotify and Audible. All those places let you leave 5-star reviews. Maybe there are more. If you want a shout out on the show and we don't see it, let us know. We try and look at all those places to catch every single person that leaves us a review so we can give you a shout out. Spotify, they're all anonymous. Apple, you can leave them anonymously on any of these if you don't want a shout out. But if you do, leave us a written review. All right, Micah. Well, I'll come up with a transition later. I can edit that in post, right? Yeah. So let's just move to the first segment of our show, which is What You Playing? I'm going first this week, Micah, because I got something I want to talk about. I think I usually let you go first, right? It's more you than me.
I don't even remember, to be honest.
Well, just because I talk a lot, as many listeners of our show know, but I just can't hold this in, Micah. I have been playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. I've done the first 2.5 levels.
Did you die in the second level, or?
No, I did not. Because
or third level, I guess.
Okay. So this game is everything I wanted from this game. It is just like the original, but with a lot of quality of life enhancements and just nicer graphics.
Plus, have you seen Michelangelo's run?
Yep.
It might be the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if it looks similar to that in older TMNT games, and I just have forgotten.
No, they weren't very unique to the characters in like the old school arcade games, which this is based off of.
Yeah. All
the turtles kind of looked the same, but just had different colors.
The different color headband.
This game is so good. It is so fun. It basically is just a nostalgia trip. So if you played the originals and like them and you want to revisit that experience again, this is the game for you. They're really, so far, I've only played a couple levels. So far, it is really very, very much a clone of what the original games were. It's new levels, but like very similar gameplay. So if you're looking for something completely new, which this game was never trying to be that. It was always trying to be the nostalgia play, like you're going to play this game again. But it does have new stuff, new types of attacks. There is a recovery thing that you can do. So if your opponent gets down, you can go to them within a time limit and save them from dying.
Your opponent?
Your ally. My bad. Yeah. If one of your teammates goes down.
Runs.
For pacifist run. I'll leave you back. I'll bring you back up after I knock you down.
Right back down.
And that's pretty cool because it saves. So coming back that way doesn't use up a life, but if the timer runs out, you can't get to your teammate in time to bring them back. You revive them by holding a pizza in front of their face. Come on, take the pizza.
Makes sense. Very fitting.
Yeah. And there's also health pizzas. Like I'm basing my experience off of Turtles in Time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, I think, and it was on the Super Nintendo. In that game, you heal up by getting pizza boxes. In this game, there's still that, but there's also mega pizza boxes with tons of pizza in it, and everybody gets healed when you pick that one up. So that's pretty cool. And I just love the animation. They really lean into the goofy 80s, 90s cartoon style, which I just am in love with. I think it's a fantastic game so far. Really liking it. Besides that, so that's my first impressions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is available on all platforms. It's supposed to be cross-platform with everything, but it's not quite there yet. I know if you get it on Game Pass, it's crossplay is enabled for Xbox and PC, but I don't think it's yet on Switch or PlayStation.
Just kind of a bummer.
Yeah, a little bit of a bummer because that's where you were gonna play it. I definitely recommend playing it. If you do have Game Pass, it is on Game Pass, but it's also on sale for the first week on the eShop. So That's where I got it. I have it on both. I'm a trader. I got Game Pass this last week. So this is my story here for getting Game Pass this last week. We ran out of space for emojis on our Discord. You're like, what does that have to do with Game Pass? Well, I learned that you get Discord Nitro for free, 3 months for free through Game Pass Ultimate. And guess what promo's happening right now? Game Pass Ultimate for $1. So I got it so I could have Discord Nitro. That is what I got it for. But now I also have Game Pass Ultimate. I'll probably use it about as much as I did last time I got Game Pass Ultimate on $1 promo. I didn't get the Ultimate. I just got regular Game Pass on the promo, which was once.
Yeah, which means, I mean, you could have played Slay the Spire months earlier.
Yeah, but I'm glad that I waited and played it on the Switch. That's where it belongs, my friend. It's the best. Playing that game portably, so good. Okay, but let me talk a little bit more about other games I played, because this week I also played a lot of Mario Strikers Battle League. I stink at this game. I can't seem to get a win very, very often anyways. And I think you and I both can agree that the goalie AI is somewhat bad. Actually, just all the AI is somewhat bad. Because they'll just sit there and watch someone charge up a hyper kick, a hyper strike.
They're very
anything.
passive, which, I mean, in a lot of situations is good, but not for hyper kicks or hyper shots or whatever they're called.
Yeah, it's like as soon as someone's doing that, the AI should know to just spam tackle. Like, get them. Please stop that from happening. But they don't. And the goalie seems to just let the worst kickers get goals by not even charging them up.
Yeah, well, I found out some relatively mind-blowing news, but apparently technique is also used to determine how accurate you are at shooting the ball. So you can paint those corners a little better if your technique is higher.
Oh no.
So
So when we took everything out of the technique stats, that was a bad idea.
It was a mistake. Yeah, because we kept getting scored on people who have like the worst shooting stat, and there will be like at half court almost, half field, whatever you want to call it, and then they just like do this little quick shot. They don't even charge anything up, and then boom boom just misses it, and it was just mind blowing to us last time we played. But apparently, technique is pretty important, especially for these longer shots.
Yeah.
And the shooting stat also helps with that, but it's more important for when you're up close and boom boom does block it, then you can kind of stun him a little bit. So we'll have to rethink our strategy next time we play.
Yeah, we will. I'm thoroughly disappointed to learn that is the case, but at least now we know. But speaking of things you might not know, for those listening out there, even though the club tournaments haven't started yet, because those kick off, I want to say
pretty soon now, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty soon, if maybe out by the time this goes live, but those are open now. You can play in the off season and earn points for your team still. So and it's interesting because when you're playing in the clubs, the only roster you have access to is the people on in your club, their character,
like primary striker.
Yeah,
that they've set.
I see here in chat we've got a breaking news moment from our buddy Presto the Magnificent. We'll add that to the news segment, so stay tuned. Stay tuned, everybody. I'm pretty hyped for that, though.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah. So that's interesting. So our club currently was a little limited in what we could do. So Mike and I went and made some characters that have like different stats beefed up. to give some variety to the team. So anybody that wants to join in on the club, the club's open to all. If anybody wants to join, I think we have it about halfway full. So yeah. Thoughts on this game though? I'm a bit lukewarm on it. I'd say I think that the gameplay's pretty fun. I think the animations are superb. I have lots of good things to say about it, but it feels lacking in stuff to do. And I'm just really, I'm still, I talked about this last time, but I'm still really bummed. And it just, the more I play, the more bummed I get that you can't play 4-player cooperative online. The matches are not 4 versus 4. They can only be 2 versus 2 unless you have people playing local. You can play 8 players locally.
Yeah, you can play up to 2 people per system online, but you can only use 2 systems per team.
But here's the thing, Micah. I had a realization. Do you remember Nintendo Switch Sports that came out like a month ago? That one has 8-player soccer. It has 8-player versus soccer. And it works fine. How come strikers can't do that? It's like the same.
Is it like the same?
Yes, it is.
There's a lot less going on in Switch Sports Soccer.
Yeah, but it's still people on, like 8 people on a field. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's probably a little more complicated because it's like a 3D field versus like a top-down fixed perspective.
I mean,
all I'm saying is they can do it, and they just chose not to. It might be slower to have that many players, but at least make it an option. Like, and then like a play at your own risk. The internet might be bad, and it won't be as fun that way. But that's how like all these games are. That's how Rocket League is. I just don't understand. It makes me sad. I want to play with our club with 4 people on one team against 4 people on another team. Like, why can't we have that? Rant done. Because I do think that the game is good still, but I don't know. It might not last very long for me, unfortunately. I think right now, Nintendo Switch Sports is definitely better. Nintendo Switch Sports Soccer is greater than Mario Strikers. Now, could you imagine if Nintendo Switch Sports had clubs? That'd be pretty sick. That would be awesome. So I just want these games to kind of merge into one game. And that's the other thing too. So I bring up Nintendo Switch Sports as a point because both those games occupy that same space in my brain at least, and I think for a lot of people, I assume, where it's this online competitive sports games, and releasing those so close together, they're like eating each other's game time and sales. I would say. Like if you got strikers and you want to put your focus on that, then Switch Sports is going to get backburnered. But if you get Switch Sports, you're probably not going to get strikers because they fill the same kind of need. And I don't think too many people have, because of the types of games they're not the type of game that you can have a bunch of those, Like if you're playing that regularly, if you're playing those 2 regularly, you're also playing Rocket League. I don't know any other online battle games. Splatoon. If Splatoon came out this month, that would have been maybe. Actually, maybe that's why that's why it's coming out way later in the summer, because it's like it would just all be too much online competitive gaming, and I'm just not feeling it for strikers at the moment.
Yeah, I haven't played Switch Sports, but I'd at least not the soccer. But I don't really think of that as much of a competitive online game. I think of that as more of just like kind of a party game almost online.
Yes, but it still would like occupy that like same kind of game time. if that makes sense. Like you'd be playing about as much of both. No, you don't think so?
I can't quite judge since I haven't played Switch
Well,
Sports.
having played both of them, I feel like I can make that call. At least for me, they kind of occupy a similar space, and between the two, I think I gravitate towards Nintendo Switch Sports a little bit more. There is some bias there.
I guess it is a little bit easier of a game, you know. So.
Definitely, I do. Hey, I've won like every match of badminton that I've played. Still don't know what I'm doing. Okay. And then besides that, gotta pull out the old switcheroo to jog my memory on what I've been playing. I've also continued my journey in Spelunky 2 to try and get the no money run.
And you've succeeded?
I have not succeeded yet, so I don't really want to talk about that one. And I played some Fortnite because Indiana Jones and Darth Vader. That's enough said, I think.
So you can unlock them and then never use them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what always happens. I was like, oh, that skin's pretty cool. I'll unlock them, and then I just never use them ever.
That's it for me. Micah, what have you been playing?
Not too much, but I have been playing some Mario Strikers. And I mean, I have been enjoying it. I kind of understand why people like there's not really that much content to it, but at the same time, it's like every sports game ever made. You play the sport, and like that's it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like par for the course for if you catch my pun there.
Yeah, I got it.
Other sports things, for like sports games in general. So I am a little surprised when people are like, I just feel like there's not enough content to it. I'm like, it feels to me it's the exact amount of content I was expecting. Although I would have liked
came in with good expectations is the problem. How dare you, first off, come in with good expectations? Because as a content creator, you got to come in expecting the absolute greatest and then be completely shattered when it doesn't completely fulfill your needs, which Micah has never done. Micah is always
I'm good at
pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I do kind of wish they were like in Strikers Charged, they had those like challenges where they had certain situations you had to try and win and whatnot. I do kind of wish there's something like that, but I mean,
yeah,
I wasn't really expecting it. But people are too good. I feel like people are going to get way too good in Strikers.
Yeah, hopefully once like the season starts, it does more skill-based matchmaking, so we get placed against people that it's like the matches are more close and not we either destroy them, which happens like once in 10.
One time.
Yeah, and then the other rest of the time you just get destroyed. Like, yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out my internet too. It's still struggling, so I haven't played too much online.
So you're saying that you want more single player content, but I also, on the flip side, like this does have online play, which the other ones did not. And I was going to bring up the same point. I completely forgot until you brought it up. But if I'm being honest, everybody, I don't remember Strikers having that much. The original Strikers or the one on the Wii, like really having that much to do. And they were full price games. Like, I don't quite see that reasoning. Like, I'm just looking at the game as it is right now, going like, it's not really doing it for me currently. But compared to the other games, this is a better game, I think, because it has the online, it has the upgradable gear. I don't remember that being a thing in the previous games. And there just really wasn't that much to do in the previous games either.
Yeah, to be honest, all I remembered from the Wii version was like the challenge modes. I don't remember doing like anything else. I remember that stupid one where it's like Diddy Kong's team, I think, and they're up by 7 points, and you have like a minute and a half or something to catch up, and there are these UFOs abducting people, and it's awful. Me and my friend Kyle never even got close to winning. I think the closest we got was catching up 4 points, so we're still down by like 3 when it ended.
That's awful.
Never made it past that one. But those were a blast. I make it sound terrible, but those were fun.
So, rounding out your thoughts here, we have a question in chat from Presto. Asks, should I get Strikers, Switch Sports, or Splatoon 2? You got to pick between those.
Splatoon 2 is cool, but I don't know, with Splatoon 3 so close to coming out, even though you have the expansion pack so you can play the Octo expansion, I don't know if I would do that with Splatoon 3 coming out so soon. Unless you really want to play through the single player, which Splatoon on the Wii U single player, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, Splatoon 2 apparently had decent single player, but the Octo expansion's incredible. I haven't tried it.
I've heard it's
myself.
really good, yeah.
Between those three, I at this current time, I'm going to lean towards Switch Sports. But if Splatoon 3 is in the mix, that's where I'd throw. That's where I'd throw my vote. Get Splatoon 3.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say too much about Switch Sports, but I mean, if you like variety, I guess, in your sports gaming, get that one because it has a lot of sports that I would say aren't as in depth as Mario Strikers. But if you want some like competitive sports game that you're going to play a bunch and get really good at and test yourself against other people, then I'd probably go with
Strikers. Splatoon 2, you would not be getting for the multiplayer at this point because it's going to die once Splatoon 3 comes out.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just around the corner. So that's my take. Yeah. Anything else you want to highlight you've been playing this week, Micah?
Besides that, I played a little bit of Rocket League, so I've been getting my fill of soccer-ish games.
Yeah, soccer. It's soccer week here at Nintendo Pals. Between Wii Sports or Switch Wii Sports, I pulled an old man there. Oh. Nintendo Switch Sports, Mario Strikers, and
they just need to call the next one Nintendo Sports or something, so you can really sound like an old person when you say it.
You get that Nintendo Sports.
The new season or whatever they call it in Rocket League started like today, I think, or maybe yesterday, but I haven't checked out the new stuff yet. So I got to do that sometime this next week.
Yeah, I saw the new season. It's loaded and potentially ready to go, but I really have not touched Rocket League for a long while. Because who has the time? Yeah. Well, Micah, speaking of who has the time, why don't we move to the next segment of our show? Because we got to cruise right along. But before we move to the next segment, we'd like to tell you all about our sponsor. Micah scrambles to. We have a sponsor. We have a sponsor.
Since when? Yes, I forgot it. I forgot it was already my turn to say something here. But support for Nintendo Pals is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in below-the-waist grooming. Men's below-the-waist grooming, I guess.
Manscaped offers shaving tools and bathroom goods so that you can look fresher than Waluigi in a fedora.
Yup, if that's what you want. So, as Nintendo fans, we like to game on the go, and now you can manscape on the go as well, because I struggle to keep a straight face for some reason.
It's the Waluigi. It's the Waluigi throws everything off.
Because Manscaped recently launched the Performance Package, and in which you will find the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver deodorant for down under, and the Crop Reviver toner.
I'm like scrambling to.
I think you showed the back of it, didn't you?
For the audio listeners, I'm like scrambling to pull all of these things out.
My favorite part was when I could hear your breathing.
And it all comes in this really nice bag. It's a good little carrying case. Yeah. So you get all those things, right? You can get all those things. But if you're looking for other good smelly items, Manscaped has a variety of bathroom products, including deodorant, shampoo, and lip balm. So you can look and feel wow. Go ahead, Micah.
And just as a reminder, the Lawnmower 4.0 and Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer are waterproof. So you can say
Are
goodbye to the mess
waterproof
on the bathroom floor. That would have been a good place to put that in.
Yeah, that would have been. But you know what would be a good place for you to be? You could join the over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer from your Nintendo pals, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code NPALS at manscaped.com.
Yep, that is NPALS at manscaped.com. Wow.
Wow.
I feel like that sounded more like a baby.
Wow. Let's move on to what segment even comes next? I'm totally thrown off now. Waluigi, what are you doing here? You've messed up everything. To the Nintendo news. In today's Nintendo news, we got a lot to cover, Micah. First off, Stardew Valley has a free game trial. I'm falling apart here, everybody. A free game trial for NSO members from June 14th through the 20th. And if you do it, you also get some like silver coins, which you can use to buy avatars and maybe get yourself a nice poster if the My Nintendo store doesn't crash.
Yeah, and you got to get those sweet strikers icon things.
Oh, yeah, you do.
So those are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm too lazy to actually like put them together to make an icon, but
you have them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. Stardew Valley is a fantastic game. Highly recommended by our content manager, who has well over 200, 300 hours in that game. So yeah, it's a fantastic game. And we also have like a ton of people in our community that are playing Stardew Valley. I couldn't get into it, but I see how amazing it is. I recognize it as a fantastic game. It's like the ideal that kind of game, you know? It's the perfect farm simulator adventure game.
Well, they just need to add some of those adventuring aspects into Animal Crossing.
Yeah, they do. Yes, that would be really cool.
Yeah, and we also got some new trailers for Live Alive, which I have not actually watched.
Oh, I watched them. They
organized.
They are pretty cool. The voice acting and story of the game seems pretty cool, and I just like the music. It just screams 90s action movie for everything. that it's such a 90s game, and I dig it. They're capturing that essence.
Yeah, so they're trying to get you hyped for when it releases on the 22nd of July, I believe.
Yeah, it's coming soon. Definitely be wary looking that one up because it is an older game. There are going to be spoilers everywhere. So if you don't want it spoiled for yourself, don't look it up. But you can watch these trailers to get hyped. Next news item we have here is Tetsuya Nomura, who is just fantastic. Developer. I don't know where I was going with that. So, okay, we're talking about Kingdom Hearts. Tetsuya Nomura is the Kingdom Hearts guy. Right? So it's been widely believed that Disney was the one holding back having Sora in Smash Bros. But as it turns out, in an interview with Tetsuya Nomura, he was the one that was being picky about Sora being in because it because he wanted to make sure it fit in with the canon that is Kingdom Hearts.
Literally, I feel like literally anything could fit in with the canon that is Kingdom Hearts.
That is the biggest load of baloney I've ever heard. This is like, what do you mean? What do you mean can it fit into the canon of Kingdom Hearts? It's literally they're traveling between worlds. How if it is really Tetsuya Nomura's fault that Sora didn't get into Smash Bros. Sooner, I'm a little upset.
It's understandable being careful with your creation.
Yeah, you can respect that. I mean, Nintendo's definitely that way. They don't let a lot of people use their IP, but it's just so
It's
weird.
just funny to hear the reasoning why.
Yeah,
with how like crazy those games are.
well, and also because of all of
them.
also because they were so like remove Disney everything from this. Like they don't have Donald, they don't have Goofy, they have a little keychain of Mickey Mouse, but no Mickey Mouse, like none of that artwork. Nope. And I just don't get it. I feel like they should add those in. I wonder who in the behind the scenes deals is like, no, Mickey can't be there. Like, no, you can't have Donald and Goofy there for the final Smash animation. Yeah, like, could you imagine how hyped that would have been? I mean, I already exploded. My brain exploded when Sora was announced. But
well, they did it specifically for you.
They didn't want me to die.
Yeah.
They're like, listen, we can't put those in here. Fans will die. People will die when we reveal this. Yep. They don't even get like a spirit or something would be cool. You know, like a little Mickey Mouse sticker. I don't know. Anyways, that's that. That's fun fact.
Yep. And now, so there have been 3 new SNES Kirby games that have become available on the NSO as part of the 30th anniversary, I believe.
Yeah, and
which I don't actually remember the exact date of that. So
yeah, this happened a couple weeks ago, but we completely missed reporting on it. So sorry, everybody, for those that rely on us for the Nintendo news solely and completely. We're behind on that one, but usually we're pretty on top of things. I love that we typically because we record these shows Friday nights, we get like the Friday news that so many other podcasts miss. So that's pretty cool. We picked the right day, I think, to record because nothing ever comes out on Saturday except for that one time where Pokemon Presents, because Pokemon Day landed on a Sunday. That was lame.
I mean, we're not really that big fans of Pokemon, though, right?
Yeah, no.
People still play those games? Yeah, but
no, I love Pokemon. Okay, before you click away, Pokemon's great.
But the 3 new Kirby games, or I guess, new old Kirby games, are Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Land, and Kirby's Dream Course. So there's a lot of Kirby now on NSO.
Oh yeah, and
I wrote lots for this next one.
Yeah, I was gonna say this news item is really important, but this is pretty cool. So as part of Summer Game Fest, there have been lots of game announcements. It's mostly been what's coming to Switch has mostly been indie type games. They're smaller studios. And one of those games that stood out to us, well, actually, there's a couple games that stood out to us as part of the Summer Game Fest presentation. Cocoon, which is by a prominent developer. I can't remember the other games that they make. Maybe somebody in chat can throw me a bone here. If Seth's still here, our buddy over at All In, he watched the whole thing because he's a champ. Yeah, the Cocoon looked really cool. It had a very unique art style and some really trippy transitions between scenes. You were watching the trailer and you were just watching that part over and over again.
Yeah, well, I watched that part a couple times. It like goes down a hole and it like
Oh.
stretches out, kind of weird, and then he's there.
Yeah, it was interesting. It looks very artistic, and that's cool. And then another game that stood out to both of us is the Plucky Squire. And it's a game where you play in like a little children's book on a desk, and you play this character on what looks like the book opens up and turns pages, and it's like a Zelda-like, top-down Zelda-like. But then, towards the middle to endish of the trailer, there's a little portal in the book, and then you pop out of the book, and it becomes like a little 3D platformer that you move to different
Like
other places to do
2D-ish things.
2D-ish levels. Yeah, like there's a part where you're playing on like a mug. You jump to different books. There's like even a little part that was definitely a throwback to Punch Out, where he was like punching a bear, and it was like you're playing Punch Out. Yeah, that Plucky Squire looks like it's going to be a day one purchase for me. I really liked how that one looked.
Yeah, that's definitely one I'm keeping my eye on. Which I always say, and then I like never end up buying these games, but that one I might actually buy.
Now I'll be kind of breeze through the Wholesome Direct, because neither of us have gotten a chance to sit down and watch and react to that yet, but there are a bunch of games coming to that, or to the Switch from that presentation. And if you have not checked out Wholesome Directs before, they are fantastic. They're probably the best presentation besides Nintendo's actual Nintendo Directs. They just don't spend a lot of time with fluff, and they just show games. It is so good. And so I really want to sit down and react to these. But there's a Lil Gator game, which looks like a photo taking game, kind of Pokemon Snap-esque. And speaking of, we got to talk about that. Mail Time, which looks to be like, I really don't know what that one's about. It looks like you're delivering mail, like a 3D platformer. Kind of gives me Wind Waker vibes. So, Micah, definitely check that one out.
You can also deliver mail in Wind Waker.
Yep. Well, yeah. Well, the reason it gives you Wind Waker vibes is because you're like gliding with a leaf, and it has that kind of cell shaded, I almost said shell shaded art style, which is not right. Shell shaded. That's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's their art style.
You're shell shaded after you play that.
You're
game.
shell shaded. I feel like I'm going to accidentally say something I shouldn't say. Tongue twistering. Super Mini Mart, which looks like a cute game. Toroa. And it's a game where you play as a bird. It looks really good. It kind of has the vibes of Sky. You remember playing Sky?
Oh yeah.
And flying through the clouds. That was like actually super fun. So this one's really interesting looking to me. Lumberjack, which I've heard good things about, and it's a pun, so probably good.
It must be good.
And Freshly Frosted, which looks to be a puzzle game where you make donuts. And I'm trying to cruise through some of these. There are a whole bunch, so I'm just going to kind of go down the list here. Mika and the Witch's Mountain, A Walk with Yeah, Chicken Journey. That one looked good.
I believe it's actually Yaya.
Yeah. Oh,
Greek. Oh, it actually says Greek grandmother right there. Yeah, I think. Yaya means
that makes sense.
Or
that
it's like
makes
a nickname
sense.
means grandmother in Greek.
I didn't know that's how you spelled that.
I only found out semi recently as well.
Chicken Journey looks good to me. You play as a chicken. I mean, I'm all for games where the main character
play as a small animal
is a chicken. It looks like the chicken from Stardew Valley. That's probably the best part of it. It's so I like to think that it is a chicken from Stardew Valley, and this is just their adventure on the side. At night, when you go to bed, your chickens go on adventures, and that's this game, Chicken Journey. Puzzles for Clef is the last one to talk about here, and that one looks very pretty. Yeah.
Is that the last one to talk about, or are you forgetting about pages 2 through 5?
Oh, there's a whole bunch more. Oh no.
Yeah,
Okay,
there are
everybody.
like a ton.
We'll come back. We'll come back to this. We'll watch the the Wholesome Direct all the way through, and we'll bring highlights. So apologies on that one. Yeah, it's been a busy week. There's been a lot of games coming out. That would be a funny side quest in Stardew. Solo in chat. Yes, it would be. So with that, the last news item, breaking news, we just found out Pokemon Snap is coming to NSO. And do we have a date on that?
I thought we already knew that.
Well, we knew it was coming, but we didn't have any sort of time frame.
Oh, okay, yeah. They probably mentioned.
It is going to be available June 24th. So
nice
this next week. Yep. This next coming up Friday. This is a fantastic game. So if you have NSO, you haven't played it before, I highly recommend giving it a try. I think it holds up decently. I've played it somewhat recently.
I think I got it on like the Wii Virtual Console.
Because of what the game is like, it holds up pretty well. It's like a scripted on rails shooter that you're riding through. And it's got a little bit of a puzzle solving aspect to it. It's very short. You can probably play through the entire game in a single sitting. Yeah, highly recommend. You can't get everything in the single sitting. Like, you won't be able to get all the Pokemon, but you can clear through all the levels for sure.
Yeah, as long as you know how to solve the puzzles and whatnot.
Yep.
They're probably not as difficult as I remembered them being.
Yeah,
when I was quite young.
Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to our favorite section of the show, because, well, it's not really our favorite section of the show, but it's got our favorite Pikmin, and that's in the rumor mill. And in today's rumor mill, the rumor Pikmin that we send out each and every week to find rumors brought us the same thing again. And I was like, what the heck, rumor Pikmin? What are you doing? This is the same rumor that you brought last time. Well, but this time it's different, they say. This time it's different.
You can understand Pikmin?
Yeah, they're like, kind of sound like Toad. That's because Nintendo Direct did not come this week. So it's coming later. Obviously, it's not coming this week. You were wrong all along. It's not coming on
I think it was 15th, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like the 14th or 15th. No. It's coming the 29th. And this was this rumor comes from a prominent gaming journalist that was streaming and just said, oh yeah, it's coming on the 29th. That's what they told me. And they're pretty credible, so people are taking that for what it is and just saying, yeah, okay, that's when it's coming. She said it's coming then, and that's when it's coming. Who knows? Could it's interesting because when we looked into it, there's an investor call that day, and it seems weird that they would do a direct presentation and an investor meeting on the same day. Yeah, that's what we have. If it is coming on the 29th, we will hear about it in this coming week, I think. I don't think that they'll do their big E3 Direct and announce it the day before. Like, it's coming tomorrow. I think they'll give a week notice to give people time, to give press and everybody time to go crazy. Unless they don't have anything to show, and then they just won't do anything.
That'd be a bummer, yeah. Shadow
I hope
drop.
that
We got nothing.
I would hope, even though they've never done this before, it's like it would be really cool if Nintendo, if they didn't have a presentation planned for the summer time frame in June, that they would say so. I know that they've never done that before, but it's just like, why leave people waiting and anticipating for it to come and then be disappointed when it doesn't?
Yeah.
Like, set the expectations. You want people to not get crazy overhyped, then set the expectations that it's not coming. So yeah. You want to take the next rumor here, Mike?
Yeah. We got a Breath of the Wild 2 rumor.
Oh, I'm excited about this one. Yeah.
Saying that the game might have a new game plus feature. So I'm assuming like if you beat the game and then you decide to start the new game plus, you can start the game over again with whatever items and unlockables you already have.
Not quite, Micah. This is actually, from what I was reading, carryover from Breath of the Wild.
Oh, is it?
Can be brought into Breath of the
We
Wild.
read different things.
Did you? Maybe I completely misread that. Maybe I completely misread that. Oh no!
Now I gotta look at it again. Here's the.
Okay, here it is. This comes from Inverse, shared by our buddy Brian Eck, one of our patrons. Thanks Brian, for sharing this. The Breath of the Wild sequel might also incorporate New Game Plus, which would be a first in the Legend of Zelda series. New Game Plus is a feature that enables players to carry over progress like stats, weapons, and other items into a new playthrough, so it's easier to explore areas. I guess you were right. I just completely had wishful thinking here.
I mean, that would be cool if it.
That would be super cool. A
little bit of some bonus.
Like, I'm sure they will. I'm sure there will be. Like, if you have save data for Breath of the Wild,
you can get an extra fancy tunic. Give me that. Actually, they do have it, don't they? The Wind Waker lobster shirt.
They do. Yeah, I believe that is an unlockable thing. So, there are rumors about a new Fire Emblem game involving pictures for a potential new game. You and I didn't look very deep into this because we wanted to be surprised by it. But just know that
I haven't seen any of these pictures. But then there's also a rumor about a remake of Fire Emblem 4 genealogy
of the Holy War.
Oh yeah.
genealogy
of the Holy War. That's what it was.
Yeah. Neither of us are super into Fire Emblem, but I've always like looked at it from the side and been like, that looks cool. Not in like a condescending way.
Smash Bros.
I do think Fire Emblem's pretty great. It's just not any. I haven't gotten into any of the games myself. I want to because they seem like fun, but they're a time sink. We've got Fire Emblem fans in chat, that's for sure. Like solo something. Yeah, it's a good series. So hopefully this is true, and it will be coming in this rumored direct, right?
Maybe.
But Micah, as you know, it's not coming in this direct because you and I, we have it unlocked. We're insiders now. We used the power of AI to predict the next Nintendo Direct. And we have a whole video coming out on our YouTube channel all about that. So check out our YouTube channel where we use AI to not only generate the new Direct, like what's going to be in the next Direct, but also make cover art for new games that were announced. So I think that we've got it pretty much unlocked. All these leakers and insiders, they don't know. This AI pulled from all the data that it could find online to give us the most accurate predictions. So what do these people have to that? They're just one person. You know, this is AI accessing bazillions of documents and data points. So yeah, I think we've got it unlocked. So stay tuned for Donkey Kong Rocket Rescue to be announced.
Oh, yeah.
This coming direct.
And don't forget Mario Kart 9 with Star Fox.
Oh yeah. Oh man, we're spoiling it. Just go check out the
Looking
video.
forward to that one.
Just go check out the video. Okay. Last rumor here. I'll let you read that one off.
Yeah. People have looked a little too hard at the Mario Strikers credits apparently, and decided looking at the credits might give us a hint at Shy Guy being a new DLC character at some point.
Yeah.
Since Nate Bildorf, who voices Shy Guy, is in the credits without being linked to a character. So people are thinking he's in there because he voiced Shy Guy, and they haven't.
Well, and they even looked in the sound files because there are Shy Guys in the crowd, which, I mean, interesting point there. There are Toads, Shy Guys, and Yoshi's in the crowd, and Toad and Yoshi are both playable characters in the game, but Shy Guy is not. DLC, unlockable characters coming? Probably. It would not surprise me at all. And give Waluigi a run for his money, I think, as my new main. I do love me some Shy Guy. It's fantastic. The wow. Gotta love Shy Guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not that convinced yet.
Really? Why would they have him in the credits? They just forget to take him out. And special thanks to him for voice acting. We didn't actually put that character in the game, but we do.
I mean, those Shy Guys make weird yelling noises in the background, right?
They don't. They're no Shy Guy noise.
100% silent?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
But, well, supposedly, I mean, he does also work in localization of games, I believe.
Yes, but this was specifically under the voice acting section.
Oh, I see.
Yep. I've seen it. I've seen it myself.
He just really wanted to be in the game, so he voiced one random sound. The sound you make when you kick the strike ball.
If you listen really carefully, when you trip, there's a little noise that's like, meow.
Just use the Shy Guy sound.
Yeah, everything makes a Shy Guy noise. If it's just really faint. Love to hear it. Love to see it. That will do it for the Rumor Mill. Thank you, Rumor Pikmin, for bringing back all the rumor fruits that we so love to chat on each and every week. Although we have a question about some rumors, so maybe we should just, hop into the next segment of our show and let's talk in the community corner. All right. We got a lot of questions here. First off, we got a question from Mute Dog the Gamer. Asks, hello, Andros and Micah. Hope you're doing well. On your next podcast, could you discuss an answer for these questions? What are your thoughts on these Zelda titles? Triforce Heroes, Minish Cap, and Four Swords. Would you like to see remakes of these games? If so, what would you like to see implemented in these titles that wasn't on the original game? All right, Mute Dog. I'm going to be honest, completely transparent here. I have only played one of these.
Wow, and you call yourself a Zelda fan.
I call myself a Zelda fan. I need to play Minish Cap for sure. Triforce Heroes, I actually wouldn't mind trying that out, but it's a little hard to find, and then it's also a little hard to play because it relies pretty heavily on that multiplayer aspect, and you need multiple people with the game to play it together, and you don't all need to be local because the online is questionable at best. But Mute Dog in chat, I did not see that coming. I'm sorry, I'm a fake fan of Zelda. No, I've played every mainline 3D Zelda. I wouldn't consider these mainline Zelda games.
Wow.
I wouldn't. These are
that's
like
one way of looking at it, I guess.
these are like side games. But you know the one that I have played? Four Swords. And I love that game. It's so good. It's so fun. Micah, have you played these?
I've played Four Swords and Minish Cap.
Oh, so, maybe a
Only
little
the
bit
good
more.
ones. I mean, twice as many that you've played.
Twice as many that you've played. Somehow I miss a game and I'm a fake fan, and Micah misses one and he's still.
Well, you missed two. I mean,
yeah.
There's a difference.
What'd you think of those games?
I remember very little of the Minish Cap, but I remember really enjoying it, and I'm pretty sure I've played through it twice.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But that just goes to show how terrible my memory is, since I don't really remember much. You get real small at times in that game. I think you can run fast in a direction, and your hat talks to you.
I love it. Very, very detailed description. That's all you need to know about Minish Cap. Did you like Four Swords?
And Four Swords, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It's so fun. Would you like to see remakes of these games? Yes. I actually wouldn't mind seeing remakes of all of these games, or at least ports of them available on NSO or just for purchase.
Let's get some Four Swords with online.
Yeah. There was Four Swords with multiplayer wireless through the Anniversary Edition, which was a exclusive app on the Nintendo DSi, and you could also get it on 3DS. That was a fantastic game. That was awesome. And yeah, that's what I would love that. I would love to have the capabilities to play these games online. Minish Cap is a single player game, so that one doesn't really count.
Well, what they should do for that one is add multiplayer, and someone can play the hat.
Oh, like Cappy.
And you get to say things. That's essentially all you do. You give advice. Potentially terrible advice, if you're me.
That would be funny. You get to guide the player. There are games that are like that, like horror games I've seen, where each of you plays in different rooms and you have like walkie-talkies and you have to describe to the other player like where things are at. That would be fun in a Zelda game, minus the horror aspects where it's like, I love those asymmetric type style games where each of you is playing the game,
doing different things.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Very fun. Well, there was another piece of this question here. What would you like to see implemented in these titles that wasn't in the original game? So definitely online for Triforce Heroes. That works. And Four Swords. And Minish Cap. I guess I'd just like to see it enhanced. I do like the 8-bit, 16-bit art style, but it's originally for the Game Boy Advance, and that's a tiny screen, so it would need to be like up-resed and made to look prettier, I think. A Fox's Dream in chat says, I've never played any of these Zelda games. They need to make them available. Like that's the thing, is these are, minus Triforce Heroes, these are games that are actually really, really liked by the fans. Triforce Heroes, I have only heard that it's not awesome, but that it's still pretty good. So I don't know. I need to give that one a go so I can give it my own fair opinion. Like some of these, I want to play some of these games that are renowned as terrible, like Other M, Metroid
E.T.
Other M, E.T. I don't know if I want to put myself through that. Nobody, we don't. What would we be talking about that on this show? We start a crusade. E.T. wasn't as bad as everybody says.
Is E.T. better than Ocarina of Time?
No, please.
Maybe.
Please don't. Oh gosh. Oh, I apologize to everybody that rated. Good grief. Micah's disdain for Ocarina of Time knows no bounds. There's some things that are just sacred, all right? And that's we don't compare it to ET.
I'm just honest with myself.
You don't know. You haven't played ET. What if we play it and it's like the best game we've ever played?
Yeah. We love it.
We absolutely love it. Solo says ET was not that bad of a game. I feel like it just gets extra smacked on because of its public image. You know, there are those games like that just they're not that bad, but they're made a billion times worse by their public image. And I feel like Triforce Heroes is one of those. Like, it's probably not as bad as people say.
It's just not as good as other Zelda games.
Scribblenauts is my favorite Zelda game, says Presto in chat.
What's more blasphemous, that or me saying Ocarina of Time isn't that good?
Definitely you saying Ocarina of Time isn't that good. Scribblenauts being my favorite Zelda game. Scribblenauts is a great game.
Is it a great Zelda game?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's just move on to the next question. Thank you so much for asking that one, Mute Dog. It's fun to discuss and confess before all of our audience that I haven't played them and that I want to play them. So I'll give. I have my 3DS. I've been keeping an eye out. I want to get a new Nintendo 3DS, like the XL. I've been keeping an eye out for a used one on a good deal, so that I can maybe pick up some of these 3DS games that I missed out on. I have mine, but it's like a day one 3DS model. The R and L buttons don't work anymore. So, yeah. Anywho, next question. You can ask this one, Micah.
By JDP Cart. Why are people so thirsty for information about a Nintendo Direct? All these rumors and speculation, they amount to nothing without Nintendo specifically saying that there is one happening. Why can't people just be patient and wait? The hype train is being driven with no purpose.
Listen. The hype train is not being driven with no purpose. The hype train is being driven so that it can crash and burn.
Yeah. It's being driven with way too much coal.
That's the thing. I think this is all, like, let's put on our tinfoil hats here. I think this is all staged. It's PlayStation. They've been up to this since the beginning. They're out there. They're planting seeds. They're putting insiders and leaks out. They're trying to really dash the dreams of Nintendo audience members so they can sell more PlayStation 5s. We're on to you. Who's the president? Zach? Is that Zach Ryan? Something Ryan?
I don't know.
We're on to you, PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm just going to admit that sounds completely insane.
Why are people so thirsty for information about a Nintendo Direct? One,
because they make the best games.
Okay, so watching through these presentations, because I tuned in for bits and pieces of the Summer Game Fest, and that's what it's called, right? I'm like, the more I say it, the less that phrase has meaning. Summer Game Fest. Like, is that what it is? I don't. Watch through that. Watch through some of the other presentations. Nobody does it like Nintendo does it. The Nintendo Direct has a magic to it, and they just perfectly pace all of their presentations. Like, I don't know. There's moments in Directs that maybe don't appeal to everyone, but for the most part, it's pretty fast paced. They do a great job presenting their information. And so I would wager to say that they do the best presentations on the scale. Maybe they don't have the best game announcements, but they do the best job with presentations. Okay, that's best game announcements, totally up for debate. So there's a reason. Second is that it's that time, like E3. Typically, we've had it for a long time. You know, we had E3 presentations even before Nintendo Directs existed. and Nintendo always had something going this time of year. So those are the factors I think at play here. Are one, they're really hype things to watch, and two, it's about that time where one should be coming, that the only one that you can count on to come, and I think that's why people are excited and overhyped. What are your thoughts, Micah?
Ditto.
All these rumors and speculation, they amount to nothing without Nintendo specifically saying that there's one happening. Agreed.
Yeah,
Although
I think it's kind of fun to speculate at times, but I try not to expect essentially any of these rumors to happen.
Yeah,
because that does just lead to disappointment, unless it's true. But
what
most
I don't
rumors
like,
are not true.
Yeah, I am okay with speculation. I am very okay with speculation, and I'm okay with like educated speculation. But what I am not okay with is leaks. I don't like them. I know, like we had a good discussion of this on our Discord. It was like there's a certain excitement around like seeing leaks and going like, oh man, what's this going to be? Because you have to take them all with a grain of salt, or should I say like a flippin' boulder of salt, because they could be completely bogus. But I don't like that. I don't like people coming out and being like, yeah, this is going to happen. I'm leaking this, versus I think this will happen, because those people are just looking for that clout and that attention. And that's like, I just don't feel like they deserve it. It kind of ruins the surprise that would have
Ruins
come
the
from
reveal. For
the
people that have been working hard on the game.
Mm-hmm. Why not let the company reveal it in their own time versus bringing it out early? Because, yeah, we have in chat here, Presto shows a story. Forgotten Land was leaked before the fall direct, and it completely ruined the surprise for me. Could you imagine if you had been there not knowing and that came on? Like, the direct itself would have been even more exciting. And that's what I don't like about leaks, is that it takes the excitement that should have been in this package presentation designed to be that, and offloads it to some Yahoo with a Nintendo character picture on their profile on Twitter. Like, it's just like, it's not, I don't like it. I don't think it's good for gamers, the industry. It's very selfish of the people sharing it. Call him out. Throwing down the gauntlet. Yeah, that's my opinion on it. But, I'm not gonna poo-poo on anybody's fun looking at leaks, I guess.
Just want to poo-poo on anyone.
Thank you, Micah. Why can't people just be patient and wait? Because we're so hyped for what's coming.
People are not patient.
Let's just ask Micah. Micah, why can't you just be patient and wait for Metroid Prime 4? Cries internally.
I've been patient for 5 years.
It's been longer than that.
5 years since they announced it.
5 years since they told me it's coming. Yeah, I don't know. It's fun to stir up the hype train, but I feel like the hype train needs to have some safety precautions. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not take it too fast here. And let's all wear our skeet belts. And maybe the hype train is actually just a speculation train. And let's just treat it like that. Let's get a hope train. A hope. I hope for this. That's what we want. Yeah, so I don't know if this, like, that didn't really answer the question. The why are people so thirsty for information on Nintendo Direct? I mean, it's just exciting. Nintendo Directs are awesome. I'm excited for a Nintendo Direct, but Micah and I tend to take this approach of just trying to be realistic with it. Don't let our hype overdo it. There was like a leaker that made this like public apology when it didn't happen on the day they predicted, like the 14th or 15th. I was like, this just feels so weird that there's like a whole there's a whole society around this like Nintendo leaking culture. And I just feel like let's chill a little bit. And why is someone apologizing for that? Anyway, next question from Monkey Thunder. We're on the topic of directs. It's on the brain. I was watching the video by Kit and Krista and thought, I was watching this video by Kit and Krista that I thought was really cool. They give a list of their top 10 direct moments, and they have some cool behind the scenes experiences. Which brings me to a question. What are your top Nintendo Direct moments? I have a couple. So do you have any, Micah?
I guess I have a couple. I mean, there's the classic "My body is ready."
Yeah, that wasn't a direct though. I don't think.
Was that
I think
not a direct?
That was just an
Close enough.
E3 presentation.
Those counts. They're directs
we'll
in hindsight.
Did you know in the very first direct, that was the one where Reggie was like, "If you're not a 3DS owner, what's wrong with you?" I didn't realize that was the very first direct ever.
Oh yeah, he just came out bold. Their very first direct ever.
Yeah. Well, you have to go back and watch it. I've been listening to Nintendo Cartridge Society for a while. They're a podcast I really like listening to, and that's our buddies Patrick and Mark. I've had them on the show, and they were just going over. They went and rewatched it, and now I want to do that with you. I think we should just go back and do a live reaction to it because I don't think I've seen it actually, and the things they presented were so bad. Like a music video of Shrek dancing to Thriller. That was an announcement in a direct. I
mean, where's the bad part?
I mean, there is no bad part to that. It's just so like, is this real? So
it does sound made up.
Speaking of, is this real? One of my favorite moments in a Nintendo Direct was the announcement of the Mario Bros. Movie cast. I was so dumbfounded that I did not believe what I was seeing on screen was a real announcement. I was like, what? Kit and Krista talk about this as like being infamous and people not liking it. I thought it was fantastic. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious because it's so out of left field. Has nothing to do with any games. Miyamoto comes on. He's like, I want to reveal to you the cast. And it's just showing pictures of the voice actors and actresses. And it's just bombshell after bombshell. It's like Miyamoto. It's just like, by the way, I killed Mario. And like he just comes on and it's just it blew my mind. It was so funny. It was so great. Fantastic moment. That's one of mine. So you did My Body's Ready. What's you have any others you want to highlight?
I forgot. Oh no, yeah, it was when they revealed this. Who knows? This was probably another E3 thing or something. When they revealed 8 players in Smash Bros. Could play on the Wii U.
I think that was a direct. Yeah,
that was so good because they're like 5 people, and I was like, "That's awesome!" It kind of makes sense because one of them can use the gamepad, and the other 4 controllers. And then they brought out actually 6 people, and then I was like, "Surely it couldn't be more than 6." And then they just step it up, and it's actually 8 people can play at the same time.
I totally missed that presentation, and I'm very sad.
It was so good.
I'm gonna save. I have one that links to that, but that's gonna be my number one favorite direct moment. But this ties to it as well. The final DLC character reveal for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I lost my mind. I did not believe it was possible for Sora to be added to Smash Bros. I just had consigned to it's never going to happen. It's not possible. We'll never see him in Smash Bros. And when they did the impossible, I lost my mind. I screamed. I freaked out.
Turns out it wasn't even that impossible.
Yeah,
Not for the
apparently
reasons we thought.
at least Disney was like, oh yeah, let's do it. So that was a fun moment. And I'm glad that I caught my reaction on live stream. I screamed so loud my mic gave up the ghost. It didn't even register my screaming. It like broke my microphone. Yeah. Good times. Good times at Nintendo Pals. You have any other moments you want to highlight?
I mean, they just have so many like good like skits and things they've done that I like.
Yeah, I was going to
can't
talk
like
about
really
those.
remember the specifics of, but I just remember them being so good.
I really liked the puppets.
Oh yeah,
I liked the puppet presentation with Reggie saying, "My puppet body is ready." Like that is classic, and it just has the three of them as puppets walking down the hall, and then they turn into Star Fox characters, and they announce an okay Star Fox game. I mean, it's not a bad game, but it's not. Well, a lot would consider it bad, but Micah considers it okay.
yeah. I consider it good.
Oh, you consider it good? I thought you considered it just like pretty good, not like the best Star Fox.
I mean, I really enjoyed it. It just felt short.
Yeah.
To me.
Okay. They also did the one with Robot Chicken, which what a collaboration. Like, let's have Reggie light an audience member on fire, and they have a part where Link is like, oh yeah, I'm so excited to be here, and he is like getting a donut, and then Toon Link comes on and grabs a donut, and he's like, hey, they told me you wouldn't be here. He's like so upset.
I don't remember this at all. I don't think I've seen that one.
You'll have to go back and watch those. They are really funny. It's very Robot Chicken. Like, it's like, what? Dude, who knows?
Which is, as far as I know, generally not that family friendly.
Yeah. Very weird collaboration. It's family friendly in the context of the direct. So that's nice. But my number one favorite moment of all time is the everyone is here direct and announcement. I don't think anything can quite match the absolute. Like Micah's description of when they added 8 players is exactly how I felt as they added characters. All right, so they're going through the characters that are going to be in the Smash Bros roster, and it's like playing the Smash Bros Ultimate theme music, and you see these characters coming on, and then you see Ice Climbers, and you're like, no way, they're back. You see
the true heroes of Smash Bros.
You see everyone. And every time they bring back someone that was gone and is coming back, you lose your mind a little bit more. And then when they brought back Pichu, it's like
that's the one they didn't have to bring back.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. If they brought back Pichu, then they've done it. And then it's like everyone's here. And I was just so I wish I could have had that recorded, like my reaction. I remember being in my like college apartment and just cheering. And my son, who was like really young at the time, I like 1 or 2, was like also cheering because I was excited. And so it was like
why
having
are we cheering?
This little bonding moment. And nothing quite generates hype like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate did. They did the most fantastic job that they could possibly do in the marketing for that game.
Yeah.
What would you say is that your favorite moment as well, Micah?
That was good. I mean, yeah, it's definitely have to. But I mean, honorable mention to an E3 again, but the Metroid Prime 4 when they just revealed the logo.
Yeah,
that was pretty high up there. And it's been downhill ever since.
Yeah. So there you have it. That's our top Nintendo Direct moments. Nice to go down Nintendo Direct memory lane as we're in the season of hype with upon this hype train that, as JDB Cart puts it, is being driven with no purpose. At least now we get to have some memories talking about those. So Micah, what do you say at this point we head to the PAL topic? And for tonight's PAL topic, we've got a big one, Micah. This is going to be a meaty discussion. Well, somewhat, anyways. We'll see. Maybe this will be really short. Who knows? You never know what you're going to get with the PAL topic. I wasn't sure how to phrase this exactly, but we'll just read what I've written here. Are games unfinished if they come out with planned DLC? Right? So they launch with a planned DLC release schedule that is known or unknown to the audience, as is more often the case with Nintendo, unknown. Should that kind of game be $60 at launch? And should developers just wait till everything they plan is done to launch a game? We have Presto, the Magnificent in chat, who was really the catalyst of this PAL topic, and is definitely erring on the side of developers should wait. They should just all be done. But I'm curious what you think, Micah. How do you feel about this subject?
I feel like it kind of depends on the game. If I don't mind DLC, but when they're like, yeah, we're gonna have this DLC post launch, and it's coming out 3 days after we release the game, I don't like that so much. When their DLC is like, clearly it's done, and you've been working on it while making this game, and then you're like, but it's only going to be a DLC thing they have to pay extra for. But then again, I mean, still sometimes even games that have done that, I mean, there's $60 worth of content in the game. So I don't know. I feel like it just depends on how worthwhile you think the game is.
Okay. Yeah, and this comes to an age-old problem in the world of gaming, where it's value of games. It's like, we've talked about this before on the show, but it's like $60 to one person is very different than $60 to another. I think it works well for certain games. So I want to give some good examples, and then I'll also give some bad examples here. I feel like, and many will disagree with me, Animal Crossing did a good job with DLC. It released at launch at what I would consider $60 worth of video game. There was plenty to do. It might not have had all the features of the previous game, which I think gets kind of thrown in here for comparison and chatter. But then they did like a trickle feed of DLC with small little like holiday updates, new item updates. Hey, here's Dream. What was that called? Dreamscape, Dream Islands.
Oh yeah, where you can
and
go to other people's islands.
I'd
forgotten that was a thing.
Kind of came out slow over time, and I feel like that worked well for the game that Animal Crossing was, because it is a game that is designed to be played over a long period of time, kind of checking in daily on the game. Unfortunately for that, though, that is not how the game was played. It was hardcore binged because it came out in the middle of the pandemic, when everybody just wanted to escape to a happier place like Animal Crossing. And so a lot of people did a lot of that, what would have been spread over that time with the DLC, and I think the timing would have been nicer. They kind of crammed that all in at the beginning of their playtime. You know, hey, I had like 200 hours within the first month, and So I think that there's that issue for this one, but I think overall is overall it's it was a good DLC launch. And then for the latter half, they did the paid DLC plus a big update. Like that was the one where they added Captain, they added Brewster, they added a whole bunch of decorating options and new islands that you could go to. And then they also added the paid DLC. I'm going to pause here and give a shout out and thank you to Schlimtor for the sub. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Schlimtor. Can I interest anyone in a lucky dolphin? Yes. Very interested in a lucky dolphin. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And for that one, instead of doing a slow trickle, they were like, all right, here it is. And they dumped it out. And people weren't happy. they were like, why did it take so long to get this? And then you're just dumping it out and dropping support for the game. So I just feel like people weren't happy with the slow trickle. And then they got it in flood host form. And they're like, I don't like that either. So it's a little hard to please when it comes to DLC. I feel like Animal Crossing did a good job, though, overall.
Yeah.
In the whole of its life.
Would you have rather waited over a year to play Animal Crossing to have all the things at launch? But then again, I mean, there are some people that kind of like me are like already burned out of Animal Crossing by the time some of these things dropped.
Sure, but that would have happened just in the future with more of the things. So I just feel like all that does is prolong that. For a game like this, where I felt like at the beginning it already had the amount of content I needed. You know?
Yeah.
Like it was a full game to me on the onset. There were people that people fought me on Twitter and in conversations that it was not a complete game. And I was like, you are crazy. I have 150 hours in this game. How is this not a complete game? Like that is so much time invested in this. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But then there are games where I just feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense. I didn't really like it for Mario Golf. And that's a game, like, I'm one of the few Mario Golf sympathists out there. I think I like Mario Golf. Super Rush, that's what it's called. But I felt like the game didn't feel like it had enough meat to it when it first came out with maps and playable characters. And then they just added those slowly over time. And I feel like where it's at now, it's worth cost of entry. But at the beginning, I didn't really feel like that. And I don't like it when they do that, if that makes sense. Another good example would be Smash Bros. I feel like Smash Bros. Did a fantastic job. That was a well worth $60 game at launch. Like, should have been more. And then they did paid DLC, but it was like the hypest DLC announcements ever. So I don't know, Mike. I've been kind of rambling here. What you got examples that you like and dislike? You want to share?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a bummer when DLC comes out that like expands the storyline of the game you were playing. So it kind of continues what you had done and you need to like pay more to know more of the story. But one game that comes to mind actually, like BioShock 2, they have like the Minerva's Den DLC, which is things happening at the same time as the original campaign, but it's different. It's just like extra background knowledge that you don't like need to know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think DLC like that is pretty cool.
You kicked my brain into thinking about Divinity and how disappointed we were with. Now the DLC had a lot of cool stuff, but then I did not like that we had to reset in order to access it. That's a
Well,
bummer.
yeah, that's just because we were past the point where you like start the quests for some of the
Even
DLC.
Yeah, but even if you weren't, I don't think it would have applied. You had to restart a game regardless, which is a little
Yeah,
bit of a bummer.
probably. But I mean, you start the quests like really early on in the game, so at least
Yeah.
most of them. Not all, I guess.
I liked the DLC in that though. It just added a bunch
And
of
it was
side
free, so
quests.
that was nice. The
Free
fleet-footed running all the time, it's incredible.
Was that not a thing before that?
I don't think so.
Oh no, you're right because there were waves of DLC. They had
Yeah, they're like the gift
goodie
bags.
packet. They had gift bag 1, 2, and then they added like a bunch of side quests with armors and things. So there were 3 DLC in total while it was on Switch, which it had already been out on other systems for a while. That was like long waited for DLC. Well, and it wasn't really DLC either. The goodie, you know what the goodie bags were?
There's
Were mods.
on
Yeah, they were
Steam, yeah,
mods, and they were like the most popular mods. They took the most popular mods and added them.
and make
That
sure they didn't break things.
that's cool. I wish that there was a modding scene with Nintendo. There is, but it's not remotely legitimate.
Yeah.
But I like wish Nintendo would embrace it a little bit more, but it's never gonna happen. Sad, because there's some cool stuff. Have you seen the Breath of the Wild mods, Micah? There's some really
I've
cool
seen
stuff.
Long Link or whatever they call him, where he's just like real tall.
Yeah,
Arms and legs are really long.
So I'm typically not too offended by Nintendo's approach at DLC because it's almost always free, and then the paid DLC feels substantial. Like Breath of the Wild had paid DLC that felt substantial. Octopath felt substantial. Like it felt worth paying for. But then most of the time, everything they do DLC wise is free. But I think really the only thing that I have any sort of dislike for probably is these sports games, like the route that they're taking with the sports games lately, because they did it with Mario Tennis Aces, they did it with Mario Golf, and they did it with Mario Strikers, and that's releasing a game that doesn't really feel like it's done. Like if it feels like it needs that DLC at launch, and for those, I'd rather wait. I'd rather wait until it's all done and in there as unlockables. Unless they're, like Mario Golf, the characters and the courses, I wish they just waited and added those in. The costumes for characters that they're doing in their like little monthly tourney things, not offended by that. I think that's fine because it's not doesn't add much to the value of the game. I don't know. But I feel like as an industry, DLC is being overutilized and being used sort of as a crutch to release games that aren't quite there. And they're like, yeah, it's going to come in DLC. And they're doing great jobs of making that seem like it's a worthwhile package, like you are getting the full game. But sometimes I'm like, well, wait a second, that should have just been there. That sort of thing should have just been there, like you were saying with the story. Like if it's part of the main story, even as like a side thing, like that's bothers me. But something like this is a different character's perspective of the same events. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of try to think of DLC just lets you play more of a game you like.
Yeah.
As long as, I mean, sometimes DLC is just way expensive for how much you get compared to like the base game. It's like they made up
That's a
this base
huge
game and they have like the engine and stuff. They had to build all that and like get all the systems working together, and you pay $60 for that, and you play for 40 hours, and then they add this DLC that's 2 hours, and it's like $15. It's like it's just, even though I might have a lot of fun for those 2 hours, it's just like the value cost per how
Yeah.
much game I'm getting
This is
just
such a
bothers
huge.
me.
That
Although
is.
maybe it shouldn't.
I was gonna say that's just a huge problem in board games, right? Like the expansions cost. I mean, you played a lot of Mansions of Madness. It's like each of those expansions costs like half the price of the base game, and the expansion is like a fraction of what you get in the base game. The value proposition just seems so wacky.
Yeah, although they do have some DLC that doesn't have like new boards and things, and those are only like $5 or something on the app. So those I feel like are pretty worthwhile, because you get a scenario that takes like 3 hours and you can play multiple times.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the value proposition in those cases, I would rather have just waited and it just be a bigger game that's maybe a slightly more expensive. Just get it all in there. I don't know.
Yeah, but they wouldn't do that.
They will. Yeah. Well,
they can't spend like
the reason they
700 years on every game.
Right. The reason that they charge more for those is because they're going to sell less of them, and so it costs more to produce those. And I think that's the same case with a lot of video game DLC, and why you see that price difference. And it's like, well, at that point, don't do it. Make a new game with it, like they're doing with Breath of the Wild, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. I think that was originally like DLC. The rumors are that it was originally DLC that became too large to be not a standalone game. But at this point, it's like just sounds like it's a brand new game. I don't know.
I mean, at the same time, I feel like what games used to be $50, now they're like 60 or 70. But a lot of these games, they're putting forth like 10 times the amount of effort of these games. So I try not to feel too bad when they're trying to milk a little more money out for some. I mean, some games they might not feel like they have the enough content to warrant that, but a lot of these games, there's just like so much manpower and like money put into making it, and it's just a $60 game.
Yep. And I feel like there's just I don't know. Like, you don't have to get it. that's the thing. I know that's like not really like a justification for the practice of it, but I wish that they were handling it differently for the Mario Sports titles. I think that's where I'm bothered by it. Nintendo Switch Sports also a little bothered by it. Someone made a great point in Discord. I think it was Purple Ryulu said that they wouldn't have a problem with it if there was just a defined roadmap. Like, this is when this is coming. Plan for these things. Risk of Rain 2 had that.
Yeah, they were really good with.
I liked
planning
that a
out
lot.
What they were going to do.
I liked that a lot, and I wish Nintendo did this. I wish big game companies did this. They're big chickens, so they won't. They don't want to commit.
Yeah. I mean, things change, but it'd be nice if
it would be nice to have
even if they're
roadmap.
just like this isn't final, but these are the plans.
Yeah.
But then you get a lot of backlash when things change. So
Divinity also had that sort of roadmap and just that constant open letter to the and they're doing the exact same thing with Baldur's Gate 3. And I just feel like that open development schedule, I like that. For if a game is going to be planned to be continuously developed like that, then being open with the schedule, then people that don't want to get it until it's done know when it's going to be done, or at least like rough time frame. Because right now, I can't tell you that Mario Strikers is getting DLC. I don't know. Other than they have nebulously said more content is coming. But that could be anything. And I don't know when it's coming. I don't know. Like, I can't tell you this is when everything will be added and it will be like at its peak. And that's annoying to me. Whereas like Animal Crossing, at any time, I would have been like, get this game. It is a fantastic game. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
these other games, you just can't do that. So that's how I feel about it. I think there's a place for it. I think it needs to be used more sparingly than it is being used across the industry. This isn't just Nintendo. I feel like finish your game, make it its own complete package, and put it out. We need more games like that. And I'm okay with DLC. It's fine, but I think my preference leans more towards not. Safer to not have it and have a full feeling game.
But what if, like, for some of these games, they wait and they don't, and they put it all out as one solid game, but then the game costs the price with the DLC included.
Well, if it's Nintendo, then it's the same price because all their DLC's free practically. Although Smash Bros would have been $120.
120?
Wasn't it like 60 and then 25 per? It's like 125. It's like $100 for Smash Bros with both fighter passes.
So like in that regards, I kind of like that. I can buy their base game and then decide if I want to play more of the game and pay more.
But what if that was already at launch? All right, so like, here's Smash Bros Ultimate, and here is all these fighter passes. You can buy Smash Bros Ultimate, but you can also buy these fighter passes.
Yeah, see, that I don't like so much.
Yeah. Why? Because it feels like...
Because it's already done.
It's already done.
They didn't
put
delay...
it in. What are you doing? You're just splitting your game's content in half to give... Yeah. Although that's a lot of content, so
yeah.
I don't know. Smash Bros is a weird case. Well, that's how we feel about DLC. And speaking of DLC, I think it's about time to close this out so that we can get to Nintendo Pals Plus, which is essentially the DLC to Nintendo Pals. And it only costs $3 a month. We're charging DLC for this podcast now? Yes, we are. But as I'm cracking myself up here with this absolutely terrible joke. We like to close out, Micah. Micah's so happy because we don't do these closing remark statements anymore. And he's like, I don't have to make up something to say. No, instead, we get to shout out our Patreon pals with the Patreon Poke Rap. But before we do, Micah, could you shout out the Patreon people that have not yet been added to the rap? Because we have a couple. Give it your best guess, and I'll fill in the blanks.
K9.
K9 Cantina, yes.
Little Miss 7.
Yes.
I want to say Solo Something.
Solo Something is in. You did rap Solo Something's name.
Yeah, I should know that. Someone whose name has an S in it.
Cosmic.
That's the one. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of the whole time.
And $2 Hero. Seth.
See? Seth. S in the name.
And Tim from the Nintendo Dads. So we have 5 patrons that need to be added to the rap, but we need more because we got to fill a whole verse, everybody. So let's close out here with the Patreon Poke Rap. And yeah, here we go. We got to rap some Patreon.
You just do the singing. I'll take care of the hard part.
Let's get it on.
We want to be the best that ever was. And shout out our pals over on Patreon.
LUD, Riz, or Retro Dodge Dan. You dug the game or Slim or Spider Shan. Solo Something, Brian Eck. That's all for now, so come on, join in.
Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Patreon. Let's get 150 or more, yeah, please. To be a Patreon donor is your destiny.
Thank you so much to everybody for listening, and have a fantastic week. We'll talk to y'all next time.